Hey, good morning. I am back today. Sorry about missing yesterday. I'm gonna try to get this out. I'm still a bit under the weather, but hey, we got this, right? Um, Speaking of which, um, that's what our message is about. um, so, the last couple of days, I've been kind of, you know, out of commission a little bit. So, during this time, the kids are having to pick up the slack, right? Um, well, I have great kids. I want to brag on them. They are fabulous kids. They are been very helpful throughout this time. But the process of trying to explain to them everything that I do in a day's time has been mind-blowing for them. It's the little things that nobody notices that I do that keep the house going. Somebody has to get up every morning and feed the dogs. Somebody has to let the dogs out to go to the bathroom. Somebody has to let them back in. Somebody has to make sure their water bowl's cleaned and they have water. Somebody has to, do all these little things, and I go feed the cat, clean out the litter box. I do all these things, and that's, before 6 a.m. And then I'm doing my schoolwork, I'm doing this, and I'm making sure that there's food in the house, there's groceries, the coffee's made, the dishes are done, the floors have been swept, everything's back in the cabinets. When they go to take a shower, they reach and there's a clean towel. They have soap that has been purchased and put in the bathroom. There's toothpaste. They have a clean toothbrush. All these little things. There's a towel to dry their hands with after they wash their hands. There's hand soap right there. There's dishwashing detergent. There's laundry detergent. There's softener. The electricity's on. The water's running. The plumbing's working correctly. All these things that people take for granted. This is in, most households, all these things. You jump out of the shower, you reach for a towel, it's there. Somebody's doing this. Somebody's making all these things come together. When we got ready to go to bed, I was literally, not getting out of the bed. So I asked my little girl, I'm like, okay, well, it's time to go to bed. I need you to make sure the dogs are in the house for the night. I need you to make sure the back porch light is on, the lights in the house are off, the back door is locked, the front door is locked. She's like, how do you remember all this? It's too much. And I'm like, well, I don't remember it. It just has to be done. I look around and I see what has to be done and I just do it. And that made me think about our Father in heaven, our lives, the very fact that your heart beats every day. Your lungs work. You breathe every day. How many times a day? Do you count how many times a day you breathe? Do you count how many times a day your heart beats? Your brain is functioning and it tells your arms and your hands to pick things up. It tells your feet to walk. Your brain remembers what you were supposed to do today and how to get to work, how to get back home. You remember the task that you have to do. How do all these things happen? We're not doing anything to make it happen. Just like my children come in and they just have what they need. Same thing with our lives. We have what we need. There's food on the table. There's a drink in the refrigerator. There's electricity. There's what? How do we have these things? You might say, oh, well, I work and I pay for them. Well, how do you work? How do you get out of bed every morning? Like I said, how does your heart beat every day? How does your brain have the ability to process all of this? It blows my mind when I think about the complexity of all the things that God does for us every single day that we don't even think about. We don't even notice. It's just there. It just happens. And all God asks in return is that we just worship Him. We basically just give Him the praise and the glory. Just believe in Him and do what He asks. That's all He wants from us. And He does all these things for us. I thought about it as I was laying in bed, listening to the kids fumble around. Nobody's cooking. They're having to figure out food. And I thought, maybe I should get sick more often so the kids would appreciate all the things that I do. What if God decided that? What if he decided, you know what? Maybe today I just won't keep your heart going. Maybe today you need to learn to appreciate me. So I just won't do this or I won't do that. Is that a gamble that you want to take? Do you really want to test God and decide, hey, I don't think I will serve you today. I don't feel like it. I mean, it's so simple, and yet it really blows my mind when I think about it. The complexity of all of it, how much our Father in heaven does for us, and sometimes how little we appreciate it. He needs to be told every single day how much we appreciate what he does. Every single day. He tells us that not one of us is forgotten by God. Indeed, the very hairs of your head are numbered. Don't be afraid. God is looking at us and taking care of every teeny tiny detail of our being and our very existence. We're not to take that for granted. And unfortunately, a lot of us do, even unintentionally, take things for granted. So my message for today is give God the praise and the glory that he deserves. Recognize how much he does for us every minute of every day. And don't take that for granted. He doesn't have to do any of these things, and he does it because he loves us. The same reason I take care of my children. I do all these things all day, every day. Why? Because I love them. I want them to have what they need. And he's the same way with us. Our Father in heaven wants us to have what we need. But he also asks that we recognize that. And we give him a shout out of thanks. Thank you, dear Jesus. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, God, for providing all the things that you provide for me. You have all the praise and glory. And that's our thought for today.